the universal clipboard paste that gave me the code. It didn't even ding. It just asked politely if I wanted to steal. Paste from Mara's iPhone, my Mac offered, a small gray flag over the sentence I had been typing into an invoice. The preview underneath had the careless shape of private thoughts, 924 side door Linden Annex. I didn't hit return. I didn't hit escape. Universal Clipboard had been a convenience for years, recipes hopping between our devices, grocery items pasted mid-aisle, a photo of the basil pretending to be immortal scent from kitchen to couch. It had never leaned into my text and offered me a door code. The apartment was doing its quarterly impression of a good marriage. The ugly lamp in the small room threw honest yellow into the corner like a witness who knows better than to volunteer. The kettle performed its first hiss. Our basil waited for its weekly optimism. Mara had texted at 6 with our hyphen. Studio late, don't wait. She wrangles light until it admits it was lying. I make rooms sound like their apologies have learned verbs. We both go home from work allergic to drama, until our devices develop appetites. Paste from Mara's iPhone, the banner insisted, as if proximity were consent. I clicked allow with the idiotic terror of a man who believes in safety rails. The numbers arrived on my screen like people who knew where they were going. 924 side door Linden Annex. Beneath it, a line you only write when secrecy has started to feel like homework. Theo will text when he's near. I stared until the shapes tried to become mercy. Then I did the superstitious thing we invented, because neither of us trusts ourselves to be noble in the dark. I put the laptop on the counter where both of us could see it when the time came. I set 2 glasses beside it because habit is a spine I can borrow. I turned the kettle off because heat prefers patience. At 8:09, the lock turned and the hallway wrote its thin yellow report under our door. Mara stepped in with hair pinned low, the face she uses when a wall thinks it's smarter than she is, and she forgives it anyway. She saw my mouth auditioning weather and did the bravest thing I know, came close enough to fail without making a scene of it. You saw it, she said. The clipboard thinks we share more than grocery lists, I said. I tilted the laptop so the numbers faced us both. Side door, 924, your phone offering me a confession by Bluetooth. She exhaled like someone stepping into honest light. Kitchen or small room, she asked. The small room is our chapel and courtroom both, ugly lamp, forgiving rug, the rule sheet taped to the back of a takeout menu because scripture should wipe clean. The kitchen is where knives live and mercy is within reach. Here, I said, let the refrigerator over here. She set both palms on the island, steadying the surface the way she steadies a rig when a sponsor gets metaphors. Thea texted an hour ago to tell me the annex wall had started pouting again, she said. He thinks light only tells the truth after hours. He asked me to come through the side because men like doors that lie about being important. He sent the code. I copied it. My phone tried to share its loyalty with your typing because Apple believes love is a mesh network. Did you kiss him? I asked. We have learned to pick up nouns before they roll under furniture. Once, she said, and watched my mouth not invent grief. On the balcony that thinks it's the river. It tasted like italics. I told him to schedule daylight and stop believing nouns are destiny. I came home because we name rooms correctly here. What did you want? I asked, not to pin her but to give the word something better to be than evidence. To find out whether the switch is finally broken, she said. The one labeled ruin and call it clarity, it still clicks if I press. It doesn't thrill me. I can negotiate with it now. It doesn't get mornings. Do you want him? The question costs less now. Practice works the way weather does. weakly, then all at once. "No," she said. "I want an hour where my face belongs to me and the ceiling stops needing me. He impersonates that hour fine. You build it here." We stood close enough to make Basil jealous. I pulled the rule sheet off the fridge and uncapped the pen that lives in the sugar bowl, because sweetness without supervision turns feral fast. "Truth before clipboard," I wrote. Mara nodded and, in her careful hand, added beneath, "If something I copy wants to paste itself into us, I say the sentence here first." I wrote, "If you think you have to kiss someone to learn you don't want them, tell me before your body tries to publish." She underlined "tell" twice. Warnings look like love in her handwriting. "Storm or quiet?" she asked, not coy, code. "Quiet," I said, "then the weather we mop." We ate the pasta I'd salted like a man trying to bribe a river. After, she came around and set her mouth under my ear where grammar resigns. My hands remembered their map without permission, both hips, the square at the top of her spine that resets catastrophes. She stepped back onto the counter with the competence of someone who builds machines and the hunger of someone who refuses to be one. We were careful because spectacle is for lobbies, greedy because yes is a budget, and this is how we fund tomorrow. We stopped while stopping meant tomorrow would want us. We leaned our foreheads together until breath returned to being furniture. In the morning, the clipboard wanted to be a cousin, paced from nearby. It raised its hand again when I typed a subject line for an email. I clicked "Don't allow" and felt ridiculous relief. Mara forwarded me the message she'd sent at midnight. No more after hours, photos at noon, boardroom or nothing. He replied with the sentence men practice until it fits. Understood. He CC'd the building manager the way penance begs for witnesses. A week of competence rehearsed itself convincingly. I tuned a black box theater back to human. Mara taught a museum wall to blush only when someone deserved it. At 1:13 a.m., when my chest took its shoes off and asked to borrow the room, she put my hand at the hinge where her neck becomes back and said quiet. The house obeyed like it had learned something new and didn't want to forget. Then clipboard tried another trick. Mid-afternoon, while I was fixing footsteps for a director who wanted their guilt to sound more cinematic, the banner rose again. "Paste from Mara's iPhone," it asked. The preview read, "I can't do after hours. My husband builds the hour at home. Tell the wall to grow up." I let the sentence travel and felt my lungs go wider. Grace is a muscle that looks silly until it's heavy. We failed anyway because verbs. A dry cleaner called to confirm alterations on a black silk that does not ask for my opinion. I brought it home and set it on the chair we use when we refuse to stand for a fight. Mara touched the garment bag like a meteor you speak kindly to. "Some fabric wants trouble," she said. "Some wants tile." That night she wore the silk with socks and said storm like a table blessing. We obeyed. We stopped while stopping still meant the next day would hunger. Theo learned humility like a second language. At a donor event where wine tried to become personality, he nodded at both of us from the correct distance and told Mara, "The lobby sings." "We tuned the audience," she said. My petty heart forgave him for exactly 3 seconds. Universal Clipboard kept seeking intimacy. Safari offered to share a tab group named Balcony with one member and one link. I created a tab group called Stairs and put in a tutorial for folding chairs. Mara added an article titled "Keep Basil Alive Without Crying." We climbed to the roof with our squeaky chairs. The sky refused metaphor. We kissed anyway. We went back downstairs because fantasy is heavy and our kitchen knows our names. Photo stitched a memory I let exist. 30 seconds of our kitchen under the ugly lamp. 2 glasses, Basil pretending to be brave, my stupid hands drying a plate like encouragement pays the bills. I watched it without music because the room already knows the key. Clipboard tried one last audition. Paste from nearby. It asked while we were both at the table pretending spreadsheets are prayer. I clicked allow. The words slid into the page we were not writing for anyone else. Here now, kitchen. Mara laughed like a person who has decided to live on purpose. She pulled my laptop closer, typed in the same font as invoices, and we wrote a new rule together, crooked because tape is human. If anything insists on pasting itself into our life without being asked, it can come to the kitchen and watch us decide. We kept living. The basil faltered, then tried again. The ugly lamp failed at beauty and triumphed at honesty. My phone learned badly that proximity is not permission. The annex learned slowly that daylight is a spectacular liar and the boardroom is where grown-ups kiss ideas instead of people. Last night, while I was stirring onions like patience could be smelled, the banner rose one more time. Paste from Mara's iPhone, it offered. The preview was short and unambiguous. Don't start without me. I pressed allow because I am teachable. Then come here, I typed back. She did. The room remembered what it is for. We stopped while stopping was extravagant. And when a new code arrives someday, dressed in proximity and eager to paste itself into us, it will have to sit on our counter first, next to two glasses we set down on purpose, under an ugly lamp that refuses to lie, in a kitchen that has memorized our names.